I'm Randy Altman with Post Perspective. We're here at NAB, and this is Chris Heerler from visual effects studio The Molecule. You guys are New York and LA based, but
Right.
you are in New York.
I'm primarily in New York.
Yes. So why don't you start off by telling us, a lot of what you guys do is episodic TV visual effects.
Right.
Can you name some recent shows that you've worked on?
We just finished The Affair, Ballers. We're starting on a show with Apple called Dream. Probably not allowed to say that. We just finished a show called Dickinson. That's coming.
Okay.
The Good Cop. We have a lot of shows.
And they're not all, interestingly, they're not all New York based.
Right.
They are coming, so you're getting work from both coasts.
We're getting work from both coasts and, in fact, from kind of all over the world. So there is definitely a strong competition going on right now with New York and Canada, New York and LA, New York and UK.
Right.
That is definitely what's going on.
And the tax incentives, and it's funny because different parts of the country and Canada and everybody is trying to gain the work that way, but New York has some pretty strong tax incentives, correct?
So the tax incentive was just extended, which is great. So we have another at least 2 years on that. So that's 30% in New York for VFX only. So that's a very unique tax credit because there is not, as far as I know, anywhere else a tax credit that doesn't require minimums against other departments. Like you can move your tax credit to New York and not be part of any other situation.
You don't have to shoot in New York or have a percentage of your
It's its
production
own
shooting
separate
in
thing.
New York. Yeah.
Right.
So that's pretty amazing. So can you talk a bit about also security is a big issue, especially with visual effects.
Right.
What do you do? What does the Molecule do in terms of security?
So this is kind of a big deal. So we've closed down the internet at our office, and we have a whitelist policy. So there's kind of a lot to explain there because the whitelist allows people to do what they can as they ask for it, and then we kind of analyze it on a one-by-one basis. It's a strong contemplation whether you want to do a whitelist or a blacklist. Each company has to kind of figure out their own way. We use a company called Lightpoint, which actually proxies internet through a screen share system. So if someone accesses the internet through our company, it's a screen share back to their browser. Like the internet is actually not at their computer.
Okay.
So it's one technique. It was recommended by Disney. Of course, they are very happy with that. We're still working through the details. I was hoping that we would have fewer and fewer requests for whitelist sites. We're not there yet. It's still happening. Every couple days, someone requests something which is philosophically vital to our deal. So, for instance, it turns out that a lot of Google sites actually authenticate against YouTube, so you have to allow YouTube. But the YouTube authentication mechanism may or may not allow people to upload data from their personal computer, which is a workstation.
Sure.
So we're still working through it. It's not perfect, but I don't want to have kind of a draconian setup where no one's allowed to do anything.
Yeah.
So it's going to take a while.
Give me your cell phone as you enter the building, kind of thing.
Right, which is very common in other parts of the world, but it's not the world that I want to live in. So we're working through it. But as it's set up now, you cannot upload material from our website, or from our company to any website.
Okay.
Get the detail of that.
Yeah.
You cannot upload content from within our network to the outside internet. So it's a very protective layer that we're...
So how are you doing reviews and approvals with clients?
So we have whitelisted certain sites for certain people on a user-based level, and our I/O department can push things in and out.
Okay.
But that depends on what computer they're on and what user they're logged in as. Security is very difficult.
Yeah, no kidding. But more and more studios are asking for that sort of certification, I'm imagining.
Right. Well, the TPN is what it is.
Okay.
I mean, you know the TPN, course.
I do, but not the detail. Do you want to tell?
The TPN is a trusted partner network advocated by Disney and the MPAA to be effectively like a third party that will validate your security practices, and that validation will kind of stand and be offered to other groups as you find new projects. So there's a few important details, like, does this third party, do we trust the TPN? Do we trust the TPN? Do we trust the trusted partner network?
Yeah.
Right. Does Disney, for instance, trust the trusted partner? How much are we paying for them? Are they actually doing proper security practices as they go? And are they, because we as a studio are paying the TPN to kind of audit our practices.
Sure.
So, are they doing a good job? Are we doing a good job? Like, there's a lot of questions in that.
I bet, yeah. But you need a place to start. I imagine you have to have.
You need a place to start, and you need, like, what you want is, I mean, undeniably, you want security. But who is doing the audit, and what is the value of the audit after it's done? And like, what I'm seeing now is that the life cycle of a company, because you start small, you grow up. I mean, that's like our classic story.
Yeah.
We're getting bigger and bigger. You kind of, in a small space, you have fewer security concerns. As you get bigger, you have more.
Of course, yeah.
So it becomes less anonymous as you go, and more of a kind of a lockdown situation, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, so you're here at NAB looking at what kind. I know that you're interested in virtualization. You guys are doing some virtualization. So what are you here to find out? What's on your list?
My task on this trip to NAB is HDR, virtualization, and HFR.
Okay.
Those are things that bug us a lot.
Okay.
Probably the biggest one is virtualization. I had hoped for the longest time that the industry would shift towards writing new software that would address things like 5G, but we're not there yet.
Okay.
It would be really nice if VFX had found itself in a place where, like, writing new software that addressed 5G. I mean, 5G, right?
Yeah.
That software was like, for instance, if you could run Photoshop on your mobile device, which I guess you could in a screen share type of way.
Sure.
But it's not very good.
No.
So like that's kind of what I'm hoping to see, is that 5G will propel people to write new software that responds to mobile device development and work through virtualization. Because obviously you're not actually going to do Photoshop work on your mobile device.
Right.
You're going to do it through some kind of screen sharing or something else.
Right.
So that's, I don't know, I'm hoping that's the next 5 years or so.
Good one. Well, before I let you go, anything else that you want to talk about? Any shows that are upcoming that you could mention?
A lot of work for Apple, which is kind of top secret, but that's, look for us in the credits. We'll be there.
All right. Fantastic. Well, Chris, thank you for coming by. It's always a pleasure. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I'm Randy Altman with Post Perspective, and we're at NAB 2019.